Whew! Finally, football is upon us. No more waiting, speculating, guessing, wondering what we have in our team. Today, the Baltimore Ravens take on the New York Jets, and we finally get to see what this team is about. We get to see that first team offense, that first team defense. Now, sit back, you know, watch the video, like, subscribe, comment. We're going to preview today's game. Also, my man Weezy is going to stop through and give us some betting props. And then later on, I'm going to give you my predictions for week one. So let's start this show off with Lamar's contract. Right now, it's a non-issue, a non-factor, because Lamar put a deadline of Friday as the last day to negotiate a deal with the team. Now, a deal was not done, so we can move on. We can get to football. Lamar's just focused on that. He's not doing any negotiations that we know of until further notice, until possibly after the season. But I keep hearing about people saying what Lamar's worth is or isn't to this team. He's worth every penny. He brings fans to the stadium. He brings merchandising. He brings primetime games. Listen, if you want to feel Lamar's reach, look over in LA with the LA Angels pitcher, superstar Shohei Ohtani. While all his teammates were pretty much wearing LA football jerseys, he's rocking this Lamar jersey. So this tells you his reach and how important he is, even to other superstars. Like, other superstars admire him. We can fumble this if we want to, but that's all I'm going to say about this for right now. Now, as for the inactives so far for the Jets game, we already know that Ronnie Stanley's out. He hasn't played in a couple years. We don't know when he's going to come back. Now, me personally, I say don't rush him. For some, this isn't really an important game. For some, they don't believe that this is really a challenge. So let him rest. Let him, get himself together and come back healthy for whatever run we're going to make. And also, Travis Jones is out. Now, I personally, I doubted him in the beginning, so I really wanted to see him play to see what the young man had against first string offenses. It's unfortunate. Hopefully he won't be out for long, but that's that. The rest of the inactives will come out later. As far as JK is concerned, JK and MP Juice Man, they are game time decisions. Now, I want to see him play, but if they are not healthy, a la Ronnie Stanley, if they aren't healthy, don't play them. Let it go. We've signed enough running backs so that JK can take his time coming back. We've signed enough defensive backs and already had some on the team that we don't need Marcus to come into this game and re-injure themselves early in the season for no reason. Now, with Ronnie Stanley out, Juwan James makes his debut at left tackle. Now, for his career, he's always been a right tackle. He's been injury prone. I have to admit, the last 3 years, he hasn't played much football. And now you want him to come in and jump over to the left side, which is the toughest position on the offensive line. But hey, it's not like we had a whole off season to acquire a backup left tackle because we didn't know what was happening with Ronnie. And then next to him, what are we doing at left guard? Is Ben Powers there? Is he the answer? Is he the starter? Is it going to be Ben Cleveland? We don't know. So this kind of brings me pause for this game because our entire left side of the line is inexperienced. And to you, it may not be an issue, but to me, it can be. It can be because Robert Saleh is a defensive coordinator, a former defensive coordinator turned head coach. So his specialty is defense. And if he knows that we have a weak point to our team, he's going to attack it. We already had issues running the ball during the preseason. Now, I know all of the starters weren't there, but it still was an issue. And now you're throwing in two brand new starters and thinking something might happen. I don't know. Hopefully everything will be fine, but we know that Lamar is the great equalizer, and hopefully he'll pull out this dub for us. And Steven Means has been brought up from the practice squad because we only had two healthy outside linebackers on this squad. It's not like we had a full offseason to get this situated. I mean, hey, who am I to question? Apparently they know what they're doing, I guess. Now, the questions that I have for this game, I want to see what Bateman has as the number one wide receiver. I want to see what Bateman can do against Sauce Gardner, the supposed spectacular superstar, even before he hit the field, rookie cornerback for the New York Jets. That's a matchup that I'm going to be watching closely. I want to see how Bateman does against so-called top-level competition. I want to see him like I saw him in training camp, balling out. Like I have high hopes for Bateman this season. I think he can get 1,300 yards, 10 touchdowns. I think he can be our leading receiver. Nothing against Andrews, but I think Bateman just has that in him. He has that number one look. I'm just hoping that he proves it on the field. Now, without introduction, let me bring up my man, the myth, the legend, Mr. D Weezy. So now we got some betting with Bam. Check it out. Make some money.
That's right. It's the handicapper, always in a cap, no cap. So let's get right into things. Ravens flock. Yes, my man Hendo has asked me to join y'all and drop some of the sports betting and prop knowledge that I have. And it's week one. NFL Sunday's ready to kick off. I know you're hungry. I've brought some juicy lines for us to sink our teeth into. So let's jump right into it, folks. Now, first up, we're going straight to the star of the show, and that's Lamar Jackson, number 8. In this game, I expect to see a motivated Lamar Jackson, even though the contract negotiations were not completed. In the past, it has been proven a dangerous thing to have is a motivated Lamar Jackson, and I feel that's exactly what we get Sunday. This being said, that over 1.5 passing TDs, I feel is a very live play. Now, in a correlated move to that, I will be going to number 8's favorite target, and that is tight end Mark Andrews. I believe he will cover his receiving yardage prop over 67.5 yards. He has proven in the past that he is Lamar Jackson's favorite target. And when it has come to this receiving core, traditionally Mark Andrews has been the most sure-handed member of the bunch. That means you can expect Lamar Jackson to try and target Mark Andrews more in third down situations, red zone situations, instances where Lamar B might be flushed out of the pocket looking for someone to get open. That being said, I expect to see a big day out of Mark Andrews, and as well as his yardage prop, I will be playing the over 5.5 receptions for Mark Andrews. As I said, folks, I expect this offense, passing wise, to go out and try and make a statement. And for them to do that, I believe it would lead to Lamar Jackson going over 1.5 passing TDs, as well as Mark Andrews clearing both his yards receiving and receptions props. Now, folks, if you want content like this and more, NFL, MLB, NBA, pick your poison, pick your pleasure. I got you covered. D Weezy is here to give you and all the degenerates out there what you need. And I keep the fire sports bets on lock daily. Make sure to check in at Backyard Action Media here on YouTube. You can also sign up and become a Patreon member. Patreon.com/BAM News. You can get exclusive betting content only available to Patreon members. Now, Ravens flock, remember, everybody out there, take care.
Thanks, Weezy. Appreciate that. All right, so let's take a look at the New York Jets. Now, supposed franchise quarterback Zach Wilson will not be playing. So, we get to see an old friend, Mr. Semi-reliable playoff producer, Mr. January Joseph Flacco. He's going to start today for the New York Jets. Now, will that give him extra motivation because he's facing a team that released him? I don't know. Is that going to make him play better? Or are we going to have some of the same issues that we had when we were in Baltimore? I hope so. I want to see Joe do well, but, he's good for an interception or two for no stinking reason. And I hope that he brings that. Also, the New York Jets are having a little bit of an issue with their offensive line. Mekhi Becton went out during training camp. They signed Dwayne Brown, and apparently he's just been put on IR. So they're going to have to start a rookie. and Max Mitchell. Now, Max Mitchell, who is he? We don't really know. But he had a couple things to say, and they asked him about Calais Campbell. Now, he gave Calais Campbell his flowers, he gave him his praise, but then he said he's just another dude. Like, we face these guys all the time. He's just another dude that we have to face. And, we're going to shut him down. So, sometimes certain people, they already don't need motivation. But I'm glad that you gave it to him because, I want to see some things out of Calais because he kind of owes us from last year. And that's just going to put more pressure on that beat up offensive line. You already had an issue knowing you're playing the Baltimore Ravens. You know it's going to be Blitz City. I don't care, Mike McDonald, Wink. I don't care who it is, Dean Pease. It's going to be Blitz City. You have no tackles. So what do you think we're going to do? We're going to overload blitz you. And hopefully this brings us a dub. With all this being said, I think that the Baltimore Ravens are going to pull out the win. I know some people think it's going to be a blowout. I'm not too certain of this. It's some things on our side that, makes me kind of skeptical, but we should win the game. And now for the rest of my picks, here we go. All right, we're going to start off with the first game to start off this new season. We're going to have the defending champ LA Rams host the Buffalo Bills. This should be an excellent contest. I mean, you got the defending Super Bowl champs, high-powered offense, high-priced defense, going up against the so-called proverbial Super Bowl favorites in the Buffalo Bills. Now, does Von Miller kind of make the difference switching from LA to Buffalo? Is he going to be that piece that kind of takes Buffalo over the top? Is he going to be the first player to win a Super Bowl with 3 different teams? Being that it's the first game, and I'm big on continuity, Matthew Stafford has been hurt a little bit, so got to go with the champs, Got to go with the defense and the offense, which both teams have, but I'm going with the LA Rams, plain and simple. I just think that they continue what they started from last year. Matt Stafford has another year with Cooper Kupp. They get it on and popping and start the season off with a win. The score for the Rams-Buffalo game, I'll pick the Rams to win 31-28. It's going to be a close game, high scoring, even with the defense. I just think that, neither team is going to stop either one. It's going to be a shootout and come out probably to the last possession. Now, we start off the Sunday slate with the Baltimore Ravens versus the New York Jets. I mean, it's a long time coming. Lamar has something to prove. He has some naysayers that he needs to quiet down. So he's going to come out blazing. Joe Flacco starts at quarterback for the New York Jets. Don't know what's up with their wide receiver situation. I haven't heard much about Wilson, Davis, or Elijah Moore. I heard Breece Hall was supposed to be the truth. But hopefully, we can stop the run. Calais Campbell and our DBs are just going to shut everything down through the air. So I'm predicting that the Ravens will take this one 24-13. 24-13 is going to be the score for that one. Next up, Cleveland at Carolina. This is the Baker Mayfield revenge tour. Going back to his former team that cut ties with him just to sign Deshaun Watson to have him sit out 11 games. I'm sure Baker has something to prove as long as Christian McCaffrey is showing that he's still that lead dog, that lead back that can carry a team and play for a full season. After getting that massive contract, he hasn't played as much as Panthers fans would like. And I know Brodney, Mr. J, Weezy, y'all hoping for a dub. I mean, I can see y'all beating him because Jacoby Brissett, he had his moments in New England. He had his moments in Indianapolis. But after that, he kind of fell off a cliff. He's not truly a starting caliber quarterback. And also, they have Amari Cooper, but they do have that run game. They do have Hunt, Henderson, and Chubb. And they bring that defense. So, I was thinking Carolina. I'm going to stick with my gut. I'm going with Carolina to win 24-20. 24-20 Carolina. Next up, we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the Houston Texans. Matt Ryan makes his debut with the Colts as their quarterback, But they got Jonathan Taylor running that rock, and I need him to go off because I have him in a couple of fantasy teams. So I need him to do his thing. Yeah, Jonathan Taylor. We'll take that. Houston, listen, Davis Mills is a serviceable quarterback. People sleep on him. I think he's a little bit better than he's given credit for from fans and in the media. And also, I think I have him on a fantasy team too. But I don't really need him to do well. It doesn't matter. He's not starting. So, but anyway, in this contest, I believe that Indianapolis just has too much firepower on offense. And they have a good defense as well. So I'm picking Indy over Houston 28-17. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Washington Commanders. Next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Washington Commanders. It's a tough one. Not a fan of DC at all. I don't have any faith in them because they've been losers for as long as my child has been alive. It's been almost 30 years. Anywho, Jacksonville's on a come up. They have Doug Peterson as a coach now. So offensively, they're going to be a little bit better than they were. Well, a lot better than they were. Because that coach last year, he was a hot mess. But, Trevor Lawrence, they got Trayvon Walker on defense. They have some pieces. But to me, this is like a toilet bowl type game where neither team is going very far this year. But I guess I'll pick Jacksonville to win this one. 17-14. I don't see much going unless Antonio Gibson gets going, but they do have Terry McLaurin. Nah, I'm gonna stick with it. 17-14. Jacksonville. Next up, we have the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. Now, Tom Brady, no Tom Brady. New England always struggles when they go to Miami, and Miami has revamped itself. Miami has added Armstead, the tackle from New Orleans. They got Tyreek Hill. They have a new offensive coach. I think this might be a little more than McCorkle Jones, aka Mac Jones, can handle. He didn't look too well in the preseason. I think he was like 47th out of all qualifying quarterbacks during the preseason, even though it was preseason. But he threw some horrible picks. So with this one, I'm gonna have to go Miami 31, New England 20. Simple as that. Another 1:00 game. We have the New Orleans Saints at the Atlanta Falcons. This is true to my heart because when the Colts left and we didn't have a franchise in Baltimore, New Orleans was my team. They broke my heart year after year after year. And then Dion got drafted by the Falcons, so I had Falcons and I had Saints as my teams. And they were in the same division with the 49ers and the Rams. The NFC West back in the day when it was only 5 teams? 4? I can't remember. It was 5 teams. And then, it was 5 teams. And they used to battle it out. And they weren't very good, but they were still my teams when we didn't have one. So for this one, I'm going to have to go, let's see. Marcus Mariota's 2-0 versus Jameis Winston. One in college, one in the pros. But New Orleans overall has the better team. And they drafted Chris Olave, which I drafted. So I think I need them to do a little something. So this game, I'm going with New Orleans 27-21 over the Atlanta Falcons. 27-21 over the Falcons. Whew. It's a lot of 1:00 games. Oh, yes. Thank you, Lord. Next up is Philadelphia Eagles at the Detroit Lions. Now, Detroit's out here biting kneecaps, doing their thing, hard knocks. Supposedly a better team, Dan Campbell. Shout out to Dan Campbell, University of Maryland graduate. If you don't know, now you know. I'm not a big believer in Jared Goff. I'm not a big believer in Jalen Hurts. But unlike the Baltimore Ravens, Philadelphia has gone out and gotten Jalen Hurts some weapons. So AJ Brown might be the difference maker in this. Um, I'm going Philly over Detroit 28-13. 28-13 final score. Now, for the last 1 o'clock game, this is going to be a doozy. Uh, I'll be switching back and forth between the Ravens game and this game. And it's the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Division rivals. What more can we say? A loss puts one team behind the 8 ball in a division. Not only do you have one loss, you have one division loss. So my heart wants to say, my heart don't want to say it because I can't root for Pittsburgh. But I think Cincinnati is our new rivals. Hmm. Can it end in a tie? Pittsburgh is known for ties. Nah, not this time. Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. I'm going with Cincy since they might win the division, possibly depending on our health. Cincinnati's going to win this one 35-24. Yeah, 35-24. Okay, next up, you have the San Francisco 49ers visiting the Chicago Bears at Soldier Field. Now, this one for me is going to be the battle of the up and coming quarterbacks. None has really proven themselves, but you see the potential is there. The 49ers have the defense, Chicago just has the wind. I don't know. But in this one, it's going to be offense is going to be hard to come by, so to speak, in my opinion. It's going to be a hard fought game. Defensively, I think San Francisco takes over, and they're going to win possibly 21-14 over the Chicago Bears. I just don't see a whole bunch of scoring. Turnovers are going to have to be a factor. A running game, something. It's just these quarterbacks don't really do it for me. And for Justin Fields, he's a little more experienced, but he doesn't have the wide receiving core that some of these other teams do. Now, as a Ravens fan, I can't really talk too much, but you know what I mean. Now, we jump into the afternoon games. 4:25, we have the Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings. Can you bet against Aaron Rodgers in the regular season? I know you can during the playoffs, but I know Valdez Scantling, I think he's hurt. So his number one receiver's down. But they do have Christian Watson, the rookie from North Dakota State, and I just drafted him, so maybe he steps up. But it's never really been about wide receivers in Green Bay. It's been about Aaron Rodgers. But Minnesota does have Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. Do I pick the upset? You know what? Bump it. This is going to be the upset of the day. I'm going to go with the Minnesota Vikings over the Green Bay Packers 27-23. All right, we got Kansas City Chiefs at the Arizona Cardinals, and this one should be a shootout. I don't see much running going on in this game, unless it's at the goal line possibly, but I just see two quarterbacks airing it out. Patrick Mahomes and Kyler Murray. Patrick Mahomes lost Tyreek Hill, but he picked up Juju Smith-Schuster. They drafted Sky Moore. They still have Travis Kelce, Mecole Hardman, so they're still dangerous. Arizona's going to be without DeAndre Hopkins, but they have Hollywood Brown. They have Hollywood Brown that won't take his place, but he'll put up some numbers until Hop gets back. This one's a no-brainer. Kansas City all day, 35-28 over the Arizona Cardinals. Next up, we have the Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, Los Angeles Chargers are a lot of people's picks to win the Super Bowl. I don't know. make the playoffs first. I know Justin Herbert's supposed to be that guy. He's supposed to be that dude, but make the playoffs first. I mean, everybody can't be the Baltimore Ravens, and the first time you make the playoffs, you win a Super Bowl. Everybody can't do what we do, but it is what it is. Herbert has some weapons. He's got Keenan Allen. He's got Mike Williams. Not Mike Williams, but it is Williams. Is it Mike? I don't know. He's got that dude. Big dude. Williams. Yeah. Austin Eckler. Oh, they signed Khalil Mack for defense and got J.C. Jackson from the Patriots. So defensively, they're going to step it up because you put Khalil Mack with Bosa. But Las Vegas did go out and get Devontae Adams. So it's a tough one. But I'm going to have to go with the Los Angeles Chargers 28-24 over the Las Vegas Raiders. For our last 425 game, we've got the New York Giants at the Tennessee Titans. Most importantly, the Giants have Daniel Jones. Enough said. Tennessee 30, Giants 15. For the Sunday night game, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Dallas Cowboys. Now, last year, this game started off the season, and a little controversial one in which Tampa Bay won. I don't see things going any different. I know Tom Brady's got some things going on that has his mind away from football. Not going to expound on that, leave it where it is, but they do have weapons, and they added Julio Jones. Like, they've added some pieces to an offense that was already number one in the league in scoring, I believe, or they were number two. They added some pieces, and what else do they have? Dallas has Trayvon Diggs. He's going to give up 1,000 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game. You know, can Dak keep up? Is Ezekiel Elliott on the decline? So I'm going to take Tampa Bay in this game. 28-27. 28-27. Missed extra point at the end. There you go. And in the last game of week 1, Monday Night Football, all the lights are on these two teams. And it is the Russell Wilson revenge tour against his former team. Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos go to Seattle to play the Seahawks in Monday Night Football. Denver, for the last 5 to 10 years or so, has always had pretty much a stout defense. Still has, even without Von Miller and some other pieces. I think defensively they're still okay. You know, they bring Russell Wilson in with Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler, Javonte Williams, Melvin Gordon. Like, they're stacked on offense. Albert, I can't pronounce his name. I don't even remember it. I just know I wanted him in fantasy, but I didn't get him. But I heard he's supposed to be pretty good. They have an offense that's stacked. Seattle has Kenneth Walker, the running back out of Michigan State. Rashad Penny, if he's still healthy. Jamal Adams? I don't know. Because, you know, they have Geno Smith. And that's just like saying they have Daniel Jones. So that right there is just an L to me. So in the return to Seattle, Russell Wilson and the Denver Broncos take this contest 38-16 over Seattle. And that is week 1 wrapped up in a bow for you. You can take my picks, put them in the bank, do what you want with them, and I'll see you next time.